It's a most beautiful time of year, and today we're going to do another autumn landscape.
So every autumn leaf is practically a painting in and of itself. First thing you'll want to do is go for a walk and gather some autumn leaves.
You can use any leaf you like. Today I'm using a rhododendron leaf. And this is our inspiration image, the small pond at the Greenwich Botanical Centre. Of course, we will simplify it.
Pressing a little darker than I normally would, I draw a line for the mid vein and the stem, and then I just fill in around the edges. Voila. I'm then going to do just the lightest of pencil sketches. And then we start. And we're going to have trees reflected in the water of the pond. I always like to start with my yellows first. So we'll put in the yellows of the tree over here. And we're going to add some orange. And we'll put in just a little reflection in the water too. We'll add some yellow-green for the leaves in front. We'll add a touch more yellow over on this side as well. And we'll put in some reflection in the water. So above the main vein line, we have our trees, and below the main vein line, we have the trees reflected in the water. I want a nice blue sunny sky for my fall day, so I'm using my blue 64 and I'm painting in the sky. So I paint around my yellows. And you can take a touch of this blue and just put in some tiny keyholes into the yellow of your foliage just to suggest the sky peeping through. With the same blue, we're now going to add the sky reflected in the pond water. So I do a series of broken strokes to suggest movement of the air across the water, and to also contrast the smoothness of the sky with a broken water surface. We'll take a little bit of our burnt sienna and now we'll paint in the foreground of the fallen leaves. And we'll put in a few of these leaves just floating on the water surface as well. With a fine brush and a grey, 47 and 61, we'll paint in a couple of the distant trees. And we'll put in some sideways horizontal branches. And then with a more broken stroke, we'll add them reflected in the water. Quick check to make sure that this is dry enough, and we'll paint in the trees in the foreground. So I'm going to break my trunk to suggest that this foliage is in front. Now we'll put in the large fir trees. I knock off some paint on my scrap paper and I'm now going to add just some delicate branches. More of my yellow-green over here. And I'm going to bring this orange down as if it's reflected in the water here. So we are now very close to our finished leaf. We're going to take a little bit of burnt sienna and just darken up the foreground a little bit, not too much. Mix the yellow and the burnt sienna and we'll paint in the stalk of the leaf. With that same yellow-brown, we'll put in just a little bit more colour over here. And a tiny touch under the orange. And we mix up a very dark green, 61 and 54, and we're just going to insert a little bit into it to suggest the needles of the fir trees. So basically just filling in the gaps over here. Just to anchor the tip of the leaf, I'm going back in with that dark green over here too. Putting just the suggestion of those pine boughs on these trees, in the water, and over here. To link this side and this side, I put some more green in the background and then I repeat it in the water. So I take a darker green, that blue green, and I kind of define the shape of the leaf that is closest to us. And any sort of extra areas that seem a little open, I fill in with the darker green and the idea of the water. This area of green seems a little large, so I'm just going to put in a few more dark green pine areas.
So here you have your landscape in a leaf, and it's almost as beautiful as the real thing. So today you have your Leaf in the Landscape project, and I just think that this is the loveliest thing to do. I can't wait to see what you do and which leaves you choose.